Hi friends, it's Carly and I'm so happy to be here today on the Alex Syberia channel to share with you a sparkly birthday card. Let's get started. Now I've got a piece of iridescent glitter cardstock that I'm going to add color to with alcohol inks. There's lots of fun options for alcohol inks. Today I'm using Ranger. I'm using Gumball Pink and Purple Twilight. I've also got some blending solution and some little application tools that have felt on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up because you probably don't have time to watch me ink this whole beautiful piece of cardstock, but it's really so easy. You apply the alcohol ink to that felt and then you just kind of use an up and down pouncing motion to apply it to the glitter paper. You don't want to move side to side because you don't want that glitter to catch on the felt. But other than that, there are no real techniques, no real rules. You can just add color and blend as you see fit and just have fun doing it. Some other tips I would share is that if you don't like to get messy, think about wearing gloves because alcohol ink will stain your skin and can definitely ruin a fresh manicure, and also work on a surface that's easy to clean up. So I'm working on a nonstick craft sheet, and after I'm done, I can just use an alcohol wipe to wipe up any extra ink that has gotten onto my craft sheet. After I'm happy with how my glitter cardstock looks and I'm done adding color, I'm going to set it aside to dry for a little bit, clean up my craft mat, and then we're going to move on to our next piece. So I have the Alex Syberia Designs Urban Blooms die, which I just think is so fun and so pretty. And I am going to put it over the top edge of a piece of white cardstock and run it through my die cut machine. Then I am going to flip my cardstock and do it again so that it's going off of the top and bottom edge of this piece of cardstock. The Urban Blooms die is a really cool partial cut design, so it cuts the petals only partially so that you can pop them up, which is a really stunning effect. But I'm going to stretch my dies here just a little bit by taking some scissors and going in through that flower middle and cutting the part that doesn't already die cut. And that is going to give me this negative flower space instead of this cool pop-up effect. Now I'm not going to do it on all of the flowers because the pop-up effect is so cool. I want to keep it on the card too, but I'm going to do it on some of the bigger ones, and that is going to be a window for my glitter paper to show through. Okay, I'm going to speed us up again because this takes a little bit of time and maybe isn't that interesting to watch in real time, right? So we'll speed through this a little bit, but I'm just going to keep cutting those petals out. And when I get to the ones that are along the bottom edge, there are some little pieces that are supposed to be in between the flowers that are just going to naturally fall out because of the way it's die cut. So grab those and find a safe place for them. What I do is I grab a little bit of low-tack tape and I stick it to my craft surface somewhere far away from where I'm working so that I won't accidentally throw it away, I won't lose it. It's just an easy way for me to save the small pieces. After I've got all those extra petals trimmed out, this is what it looks like, and this is how it's going to look layered over that glitter cardstock that I inked. But before I put those together, I want to add a sentiment right there in the middle. So I've got my white panel loaded up in my MISTI with a little happy birthday stamp from the birthday bouquet set. Now before I stamp onto my panel that I worked so hard on, I want to double check myself. So I've got a piece of acetate I put over that white panel. Then I can ink up the stamp and stamp onto the acetate, and that lets me check spacing and alignment, making sure I've got it where I like it. And if I don't like it, this gives me a chance to move the stamp and fix it. If I do like it, I can just take that acetate out of the way, wipe it off, put it back in my MISTI for my next time, and then get everything straightened out, ink up my stamp, and stamp again onto my actual panel this time. This little extra step has saved me so many ruined projects that I do it now on everything that I make. Okay, so I'm going to speed us up again to get us through the assembly quickly because I'm sure you want to get to actual crafting and not just watching me craft. But I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back of that die cut panel, and I'm going to carefully get it in all of the little nooks and crannies around all the little die cut openings because I want it to be really good and stuck down to that glitter paper. I like using liquid glue for this because of ease of application in all the small spots, and also it gives you a little bit of extra time to wiggle things around and get them perfectly lined up. To help everything adhere together, I'm also going to give it a good press with some acrylic blocks for a few moments, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish those flowers. For the little bits that I saved that were off the edge here, I put the petal back in place to use it as a guide to adhere this little middle piece back in, the separator between the two petals. And then I want to finish the flowers with some centers. So I die cut some of the little bits from the Andalusia Wildflower set from black cardstock. I'm going to add those into the middle. And it's so funny because the wildflower pieces that I chose for the middles, the ones that I'm using, I probably didn't even need to bother putting that little separator back into the petals on the bottom because that piece is so big and I could definitely position it to cover it up. But that's okay. Sometimes designs change as you do it. As I'm going, I'm also using my tweezers to pop up the petals that I left in place. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and cut off any little bits that are hanging over the edge. And the final touch is I like to add a little bit of faux splatter with some black pens. So I just grab a couple of pens that are different sizes and just kind of dotted them around to look like I splattered paint there, but I didn't really. After the splatter, I adhered that panel to a folded card, and here's what it looks like in good lighting. Thank you so much for watching today, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you get to craft sometime soon. Thanks again, and happy crafting!